Hello everyone, this is Siren back with another deck profile, and today we're just going to go over the Jester, Lavorre, Prankster, Priestess deck we played in Webcam Wednesday. While our run in Webcam Wednesday wasn't super successful, it did let us know what cards we could add, and it showed us a few new toys we could put into the future of the deck. But as we know, Jester, Lavorre, Chaos, Life, and Fire, 6 hand size, 31 life. Spend 1 momentum, add 1 spell card from your discard pile to your hand, and then enhance once per turn, commit a foundation, your rival spends momentum. This attack, both players add the top card of their deck to their momentum. So very momentum focused, very focused on resources and looping those resources. So getting into the deck, we'll just leave Jester right there for us. We've got 4 a Master's Pride. This is the only 0 diff, lets us re-ready it when we add a momentum, so it triggers really well Jester's ability because you can commit it and then respond, flip, and re-ready it. Not much else to say, it's got an okay block mod, and it's just the only really good 0 diff we're able to play now with rotation having happened. Moving into our defensive 1 diffs, we've got 2 a Desperate Plea, 3 Fast Friendship, and we have 4 Radiant Visage as a defensive option. We'll start with Desperate Plea. Desperate Plea is a 1 diff, 4 check, 2 mid block. Response flip after you block, build the card you blocked with face down or face up. And then we've got Fast Friendship. It's 1 diff, 5 check, 3 high block, enhance, flip. This attack gets -2 speed. If you have more face down foundations than your rival, this attack gets -3 speed instead. And then we've got Radiant Visage. Flip, mill 3, your rival spends a momentum. So Desperate Plea and Fast Friendship are just there to make our blocking easier. We're giving minus speed, and we're essentially reducing the speed by reducing the progressive difficulty, right? So the focus is just to A, be able to block our things so we don't die, and 2, we're able to build in some important foundations that maybe we want to hold them to block with, right? There's a new few spell foundations in Critical Role where it's useful to be able to block and then build them down. As for what Radiant Visage is doing, it kind of lets us reduce the drawback of Jester's ability. Giving our rival momentum is never a fun thing to do, so being able to go Radiant Visage, flip, mill 3, they spend momentum is really good. It is harder when they have something with a momentum out, which is pretty common these days, but it's still a good piece of toy to have, as you can also flip mill 3 it for no effect just to get more cards in the discard, so you can see if you can find that wanted spell for Jester, right? We actually used it a couple times trying to hunt for a Spellstorm, and while it wasn't super successful, it did help us dig, and we found some other cool cards. Moving to the more offensive 1 diffs, we've got 3 a Capture Target, 3 Capture the Target, 4 Fearsome Transformations, and what I consider to be an offensive piece, 4 Inspiring Song. First, Capture the Target is a 1 diff, 5 check, 3 low block. Enhance once per turn, Tenacious. If you have 3 or more attacks in your card pool, ready this foundation. Fearsome Transformations, 1 diff, 5 check, 3 high block. Flip, draw a card. If you have no momentum, discard a card. And then Inspiring Song, 1 diff, 6 check, 3 mid block, spell card. Enhance, flip, mill 3, choose a player. That player's next check gets +1 or -1. So again, Capture the Target is sort of serving a role similar to Master's Pride. It lets us re-ready, so we don't pay that big cost on Jester of committing the foundation, right? We're under the Chaos symbol, so we don't get cards like Defiant Stance, which mitigate their costs because they re-ready themselves. Fearsome Transformations is our big draw piece. It's pretty much always online as just a pure draw 1, and discarding 1 isn't the worst because we can then go pick it back up with Jester. But most of the time we're just able to draw the 1 free one, and again, we're able to build these in off of the Desperate Pleas, so that's really helpful. And then the really cool new one we have is Inspiring Song. It's a spell card, so we're able to go pick it up with Jester. It gives our next check +1 or our rival's check -1. And we can actually use it on cards like Blue Flame Torment or Vile Seething to boost that check up, so then we can try and block it, or we can reduce the damage we're taking, something like that. So it's just overall a really powerful card, and it's really helpful in this terms of it increases our life, our sustain, and it increases our ability to just sling things at them, right? We're very much focused on slinging a lot of attacks in 1 turn instead of just trying to bank a big poke or make one big move. We're not giving stats on face, so it's a little harder for us, so we just kind of have to string out and, you know, eventually we'll nail him down, right? That is the 1 diffs. Moving on to the 2 diffs. For a defensive piece, we've got 1 incredible display, 3 broken psyche, and 3 nice try. Incredible display, 2 diff, 5 check, 3 mid block. Response, commit, discard a momentum after your rival plays a non-character responsibility. Cancel it. Response, commit after you block with a foundation, add it to your hand. I definitely think this is going to go to a 2 of. It was very much missed in the games we were playing. Being able to cancel something like Strange Energies into Allura would have been really nice. Or any other kind of deck. You know, responses are such a common thing now, and the response to pick up a block is pretty good. Even though our block mods aren't the best on our attacks or on our foundations, they're still decent block mods. They're not the worst thing ever. Broken Psyche. Response, remove after you take a damage from an unblocked attack. Add 1 card with a check value of 6 from your discard pile to your hand. Playable while committed. And then Enhance. Flip. Discard a momentum. Change the attack's damage to 2. It's a 2 diff, 5 check, 3 low block. I think this will become another copy of Incredible Display, if nothing else. Because 3 was kind of a bit much. While we do always have the momentum with Jester, we don't want to push that button quite so often. And it especially made it harder with opening hands, as we would open up like 3 broken psyches, and we actually had a game. We opened up 3 broken psyches, reviewed the 1, and still built the 2, right? So while it's not a bad card, it's something we don't want to see that much, where we'd rather see an offensive piece to help us push through their walls. And then we've got 3 nice try. 2 diff, 5 check, 3 low block. It's got the taunt keyword, enhance, commit. This attack gets -2 speed. Response, after your rival's combat phase begins, ready this foundation, playable while committed. It's kind of serving that same role of Master's Pride. We can commit it with Jester on our turn and then re-ready it on theirs, or we can commit it to pass a check, either one. But this is kind of our main defensive 2 diff foundation lineup. We've got some speed hate, some damage hate, and we've got our response hate and the ability to pick up our blocks again. But no, I think the nice try is a really good addition. I don't think I want to take that out. If anything, if I were to keep the block zones the exact same, it'd be the 3rd broken psyche for a 4th nice try, but I think I'd rather just amp up my block zone for something I'll show a little bit later. As for our more offensive 2 diffs, we've got 3 long range support and 3 titanic combat. Long range support is a 2 diff, 5 check, 3 low block. Oh, our camera has gone fuzzy. There we go. It's a 2 diff, 5 check, 3 low block. Titan keyword, response once per turn after an attack deals damage to a character, draw 1 card and discard a card. While it's not a bad card, I feel like on Chaos, as our primary symbol, we get a lot more options for draw, so we might just play something else instead. Something like Ferocious Attacker might be a little bit better, as it's a 1 diff, so we can build it easier, and it's a flip cost, so it's not, while it is a one-time use, it's not as predicated on different things. And then we've got Titanic Combat. Response, commit after you take damage from an unblocked attack. Build the top card of your deck face down committed. Enhance, your attack commit. This attack gets +2 damage, and your rival commits a foundation. Is a 2 diff, 5 check with a 3 low block, similar to their long range support, although this did us much better. Cards like Wound Restore let us revive ourselves and give ourselves back life, so using Titanic Combat to basically build in a free resource for when we go is pretty good. And the 2 damage and stun 1 essentially helps a lot when we're trying to push through those walls, like I was saying. We're actually going to try and see if we move it over to here, if the camera will focus a little better. But moving into our attacks, we've got 2 Helper Harm. It's a 0. Oh, it did not. Appreciate. There we go. We've got 2 Helper Harm. It's a 0 mid block, 4 diff, 3 check, 4 mid for 4. Ally spell card, 4 Blitz. Your rival commits a foundation. If they cannot, they lose 2 health. Response, after you block with this card, a player of your choice gains 2 health. If you are maximum health, ready a foundation that has not been ready this combat phase. So this is sort of what I was talking about with Jester. Our ability to go pick up spell cards is really strong to begin with, and then we're able to pick up really good block mods because of the new critical role cards. So we can play Helper Harm, block with it, respond, we either gain the 2 health, or we're at max, so we then re-ready whatever we committed with Jester to get the momentum, right? or we can re-ready a nice try, anything like that. So I think Helper Harm is really good. I don't think I want to go above it too, as it's not an attack I really enjoy playing, but I do think it's still a really good attack nonetheless. Moving from there, we've got 2 copies of False Visage. 4 diff, 3 check spell, 3 high for 5 with a 2 high block. Response after you gain health, this attack gets +1 speed and +1 damage. Healer Blitz. Here we go. Healer Blitz, gain 2 health. Only playable if your character is a healer, and we are. So the idea with this card was being able to gain back health so we can just live for forever. And we can make it into a 4 high for 6 pretty easily. Off of that, I think if we were running more of the life gain package, or if we were playing on specifically life as a symbol, this would be better, but I think under Chaos there's just better options for our spells, which I'll get into in a little bit. But the card wasn't terrible, it just didn't do quite what I wanted it to do. Next we've got 3 copies of Magical Assault. It's a 4 diff, 3 check spell, 2 low block, 4 mid, 4 3. Oh, there we go. Blitz mill 1. If you milled a card with a check value of 4 or greater this way, your rival spends a momentum and this attack gains throw. So the big thing with this was being able to spend the momentum. We give them with Jester, and we give it throw. So we can stack wound restores onto it and essentially say, here's an extra 4 to 16 damage, right? It's not got the worst block mod in the world either, so it just kind of was a way to generate more momentum and deal with the issue that Jester has of giving our rival momentum. We like to give presents, but we don't like to let them keep them. From there, it's 3 duplicitous attack. This card's actually way better than it used to be. 4 diff for 3, 4 low for 4, or 4 diff, 3 check, 4 low for 4 with a 1 mid block mod, combo enhance, your next attack gains echo, and it's got ally and spell. Our combo requirement is spell, which we can fulfill pretty easily with a myriad of different options. And it just makes it so we can make our next thing even easier, and it lets us string out easier. A really fun line was going duplicitous into duplicitous, and being able to say a total of 12 damage across the board. And while that's not the best line, it definitely wasn't something that was hurting us. Now for the big, finishers of the deck, we've got first 3 lightning blasts. It's a 4 diff, 2 check, 4 low for 6, with the spell keyword response card pool after your attack is blocked. It gets a damage for each card in your rival's card pool. And then Blitz. This attack gets +1 damage for each face-up rival foundation, and it's got a 1 high block. So it's got a good block mod first to fetch it with Jester, and while it is a 2 check, it's got a pretty substantial ability. We were regularly putting out 6 damage on this thing. And I think if we get the speed gain, which is something I will probably be adding in a future version, it makes this attack even more lethal. But definitely a great finisher. It's a really fun card too, just in general. Being able to either open with it, or like I was saying, we could combo into duplicitous and give it echo, is equally as fun. There's a lot of fun things you can do with this deck, a lot of fun interactions, and it always feels like it's a puzzle to figure out how you want to kill your rival, right? But that's that part of the finisher package. We've got one other finisher in Spellstorm. Mage EX2, powerful 3 spell. You may flip spell cards in your card pool as though you're spending momentum to pay for this card's keyword abilities, Response after this attack deals damage, draw a card. It's a 4 diff, 2 check again, so we're running a total of 4 2 checks, which isn't the worst. It's a 1 high, 5 high it's a 1 high block, 5 high for 3. And it kind of fulfills that similar role of Lightning Blast. We can give it a bunch of damage by flipping our spell cards. We've got Duplicitous stacked to give it Echo, so we can flip more things, or we can spend the momentum Jester has given us. It was a really neat card, it just was hard to find. I think if I were to do anything, I would definitely want to take it to 2 Spellstorm, 2 Lightning Blast. Because Spellstorm just felt like a more easy to access finisher sometimes. But yeah. Moving on to just a couple of more spells. We're playing 1 Spirit Lollipop. 5 mid for 5, enhance hand, remove your attack gets +3 damage, gain 2 health. 5 diff, 3 check, 2 mid block, and it's got another response. After this attack is blocked, your next attack gets +3 damage. This wasn't originally an intentional card in the list. This was supposed to be a 3rd help or harm, but it did prove to be pretty useful. Gaining the 2 health was pretty good, and it made it so they either had to take the 5 or they were giving our next one more damage. And then our other spell is a 4-diff channeling spell seal. Deadlock, stun 2, charge spell, 4 high for 4. If you static text, if your rival blocks this attack, seal their block. Blitz, your next attack gets +1 speed and +1 damage. In response, after this attack deals damage, draw a card. It's got a 2 mid block, and this is one of the cards I'd like to go up on in count. Probably over something like Helper Harm or the False Visage. I think Helper Harm might stay, I'm not sure yet. But I definitely like this card. I think this is a great flow piece for Jester, and it just lets us find the cards without having to spend our momentum. Now we do have 2 other finishers, although I'm still not quite sure how sold I am on them. It's 2 copies of Big Freaking Explosion. 5 diff, 3 check, 5 high for 5, enhance, spin a momentum, mill 3. This attack gets +1 damage for each attack in your discard pile. If you mill 3 attacks this way, you lose health equal to half this attack's damage, rounded down after it resolves. It wasn't terrible, it just never felt... I think the fact that we don't have, and this is something that we'll get into in a little bit, is we don't have the speed gain from VME, and so it made it so all of our moves are sending for printed speed, which meant it was really easy to block them. So I think that's something that Jester needs. To be honest, it completely slipped my mind, but it's something we'll look at, and I'll keep trying this card out. I was originally super high on this card in characters like Wolfwood and Chaos Jester originally, so I'm sure I'll still love the card just as much. Next we've got... this is our only non-spell attack, is 4 Fast Hybrid Chimera Kraken. It's just a good card. 5 diff, 3 check, 4 high for 6. Enhance momentum once per turn, your attack gets +2 speed. Enhance, commit and freeze a rival foundation, and then another enhance, commit 1 rival asset. It's got a 2 high block. Yeah, it's just the only one we're not gonna be... It's the only non-spell, just because it is that good. This could be your choice of anything onto Chaos. It could be Titan Cliff, it could be Vast Hybrid, it could be Smashing Stomp, it could be anything you want to play. It's just I only felt comfortable running a total of 4 non-spell attacks in my 22 attack list. But who knows, we might change that in the future, I'm not sure yet. Moving on to our last few cards, their actions. We've got 2 copies of Magic Boost, a great overperformer, 1 diff, 5 check, 1 low spell, with enhances that gets +2 speed and +2 damage. So we were regularly, when we were playing Spellstorm, and then we would enhance with Magic Boost. And then this gave us another spell to flip for Spellstorm. It made it way easier to make the moves connect. It was a great low block when we needed it, and it just served a lot of utility purposes, so I think this is definitely going to go to at least a 3 of, if not maybe a 4 of, I'm not sure yet. And then we've got 4 copies of Wound Restore. It's a 3 diff, 4 check, 3 mid block. First enhance, remove, gain 5 health, and then enhance, remove, if your attack deals damage, your rival loses 4 health. While it was really good at keeping us alive, I'm not sure it's what we want for our more aggro-focused build. Ideally, we want to be able to sling in really hard, really fast on like turn 2, turn 3, and Wound Restore just isn't quite doing what we want it to do, so it might go down to a 2 of, and it will become the Magic Boost, potentially. I'm not quite sure yet still, as we're still in like testing phases, but I will bring the deck back when it is there. But that is the deck profile. It's our cute little Chaos Jester. We're playing pranks and we're slinging spells. But I hope you all have a good one, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to follow me on Twitch. We're trying to get to that affiliate status, and I'll see y'all later.